next topic of discussion. That's the CEO Einar Stenstable from Mare, a Norwegian hydropower company looking into the opportunities in Africa. So if I could please welcome Einar Stenstable. Thank you.
Presentation as well. Excellent. Yes, sir. It's always a challenge to try to do it with that title, so I hope you'll see. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, and today, ladies, this is the 8th of March, and then the rest of us, some people, we might be gentlemen, we might be dancers, but I hope most of us are doing gentlemen. We try to act accordingly since it is the 8th of March. What I would like to talk about is the company I represent, Mare. It's our vision and business model. It's our ambitions, and there are some practical examples. And I'll leave very little time for what is outside Africa, since I have some very few minutes, and I'm going to try to be as brief as I possibly can. We are a hydropower company. Agua is a well-known word for, in Spanish or Portuguese, for water. I've learned that Imara is more strength than it is power, but we found a good sounding combination of peculiar about that. There are some salient features. Today it's sold very locally. The most important part of this is the potential going forward. As in very large parts of Africa, you need to have dams to get hydropower to be sustainable over time. Because you have very often a very, very half year with actually no rain whatsoever. And if you try to have a river that's going to feed your power plant, it will be idle for almost half the year in many cases, or produce very, very little. That means that the household of water and the combination with hydropower is where you must find a recipe that makes it sustainable. In this case, there are two big old dams, and part of the development of these is to utilize them for much more than what they are today. And they end up in a farming area, so they also need to be sustainable in that respect. So you may see from these figures, and it's fairly proportional, we're only using 20-25% of the potential that lies in these rivers today. So we believe that we can develop between 2 and 3 terawatt hours of production stemming from these two dams. So that's a considerable power opportunity. The last I would like to talk about before I leave you is in Mozambique, and I think perhaps the most interesting of these two opportunities, because I think there are many of them in Africa, is the lower one, the Massanger possibility. That is a project that can be developed from a existing but destroyed irrigation dam. And there are a lot of irrigation dams in Africa that are not used for any other purpose than irrigation, and some of them are actually used or have problems even with that. One of the reasons for that is the fact that irrigation has no money coming to it. There is no one financing the continuous use of that land. That's where the beauty of power comes in, because power can also contribute to the operation and maintenance of the irrigation system. And we want to try to do that in Africa because we have within our group, from one of our owners, SM Power, a tremendous good experience of that from the Philippines. where we have a large plant doing exactly that with all the necessary permissions and the different setups that we need in order to get irrigation and power to work nicely together and to make certain that it can be maintained over time. And I think that's so important, especially in countries that are dry for so much of the year. Water is a precious raw material. Okay, I think that gives you a little picture. When do you, perhaps, what about East Africa? Yes, it will come to East Africa. When? I'm not going to tell you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next up we have prospects of oil and gas in East Africa. And I would like to introduce the project manager, Harris Utne from Rystad Energy, who will enlighten us on the prospects for oil and gas